Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Let's get started. All right, no questions. Okay, there's no questions. Let's continue. There's not too many chances left. Tonight and tomorrow night is okay. Yeah, that's it, right? Go ahead.
昨天晚间我不对你们讲吗？无论做什么事情，都要拿出个真心。
Haven't I told you last night? No matter what you do, you must bring out your true mind.
你要没有真心，就不会有感应的。你要有真心，就会有大的感应。
Without your true mind, you will not have responses. If you have a true mind, you will have huge responses.
所以呀，咱们参加念佛七的人呢，都要拿出一个真心来打这个佛七。打这个佛七，不怕苦，不怕难。
All participants of Fo Qi should bring out your true mind during the Qi. During the Qi, do not be afraid of suffering.
不怕渴，不怕饿。
Do not be afraid of hardship. Do not be afraid of thirst. Do not be afraid of hunger.
咱们一心念佛呀，得到这个法食。
We recite the Buddha's name single-mindedly in order to attain the Dharma food.
你要得到法食了，就不会饿了，也不会渴了。不能一遇到硬的，就败了。
If you attain the Dharma food, then you will not be hungry or thirsty. Do not fail upon hardship.
咱们天天都吃3餐，在打七的时候吃2餐，少吃1餐，把这1餐饭呢，就供养给佛。
We eat 3 meals daily. During the Qi, we eat 2 meals. We eat 1 meal less and offer this meal to the Buddha.
Okay, let's stop here. Okay, let's go back and revisit what he's trying to teach us. Okay, the teaching is that use your true mind in cultivation. Okay, so whatever that is called a true mind, and the true mind manifests itself as not being afraid. It turns out the true mind is one of the 3 aspects of your enlightened mind. So this is also tells you that the Pure Land Dharma door, and you recite the Buddha's name, you also are adding, you planted the causes for your own enlightenment. Okay, because this Dharma door, this is the Dharma we're teaching you, the Dharma you're all practicing here relies upon the true mind. Okay, and that's what we're all following. And therefore, the Pure Land Dharma door also is helpful towards your opening your practical wisdom. Okay, so don't ignore that. And I feel sorry for the people who practice Pure Land and they're so desperate. They said, all I want to do is go to the Pure Land. That's not it. No, you should try your best and practice the Pure Land Dharma door, and with the objective of trying to make the best out of it with what you can do right now. That includes being enlightened through reciting Buddha's name. Okay? And one thing here it says it's so Chinese. It says, I kept on hearing about this. The Chinese, when especially him, Master Shenhua, he says you need responses in your practices. I don't know how to approach it. To me, when you talk about responses, it's just another state. Yes? You feel good. The qi is strong. You feel peaceful and blissful. That's another state as well. Shouldn't be attached to it. And yet, the way the Chinese teach their own kinds is that they said you want to seek responses. When you are true and you do the right things, you get responses. It's true, but then it's also not pure in my mind. How do you feel about it? You see, when I've been teaching, I don't talk about responses, and yet when he teaches, you see that this whole week he kept on mentioning you recite the Buddha's name, you get responses. You have a true mind in your cultivation, you will get responses. And to me, it as a Chan purist, I don't like it. Okay, but I don't know how you feel about it. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Master. Maybe Master Shenhua is saying that because he wants them to really develop their faith, as maybe Master YongHua wants us to do what we have to do regarding the responses or whatever happens after.
Okay, so the point here is that he says it helps when you have responses during your spiritual practice because it helps develop your faith. Yes. On the other hand, what if you don't get responses? Yes, 3.
Thank you, Master. When we were doing the Guanyin Shi, I read his Listen to Yourself, Think Everything Over, which were the lectures from the Guanyin Shi. And in there, it said that if you do it with your true mind, that Guanyin will appear before you and that you'll see flowers and you'll smell a fragrance. And like on the 4th day, he said, like, if you don't do that, if you don't have that happen, that means you're not doing it with your true mind. And so it made me feel like I wasn't doing it correctly.
No, you phony.
The phony.
Yeah, you don't have a true mind. What can I say? And see, that's a problem. I have a problem with this because the Chinese apparently expect to have responses. Chinese person. Am I correct? No? And to us, to me, it's like salesmanship, you know? And I'm concerned because I've seen my shares of people who come here and they heard promises and they didn't get these responses and they left disappointed. Hey, that's a China girl here from up north. It must be a response that you made it back, huh? She was involved in an accident, pretty serious accident, huh? And almost could have got seriously injured, because that's very dangerous. Her trailer sort of flew on her. She was driving, and the Chinese, as these immigrants, they never learn how to drive properly. I'm sorry. This is California, okay? You don't live in California, you don't know. We have drivers here who really never went to driving school. Okay, all we have to do here in California is to pass the driving test and written test. That's it. You're entitled to drive. So a lot of us, including myself, okay, I went to Minnesota first, and I didn't know how to drive myself. I didn't even cheated on my written exam. It was much easier back then because when you go for the written exam, there's a excuse me, sorry. There's a table there. You stand there and you take the written exam. The other side is a waiting area. So all I had to do is I asked my brother, "Hey, what's the minimum speed for when you drive in the alley?" And he says, 10 miles, something like that, 5-10 miles. Anyway, that's how I passed the test, 100%. I'm sorry, I was a bad person in my prior life. If I could get away with it, why not? It's so sad. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm such a bad example. How did we get there? Oh, yeah, the driving thing. And so Apple here never learned how to drive with a trailer behind her. You think, what's the big deal, right? Except when you go at 60 miles, 70 miles, that's when the physics are different. Yeah. Anyway, no one got injured in the accident. It flew, right? I mean, it's like like a carjack or something. I mean, like a jackknife. Huh? Anyway, I'm glad you could make it. Wow. Remind me again, where were we? Yes, 7.
Thank you, Master. Yeah, it's a long story. And 3 weeks ago, I got a car accident on the way home from LA. It's I-5, Friday afternoon.
Wow, Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Friday afternoon, a lot of car here, a lot of trucks.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel I got protection from Buddha because both my husband and I didn't get hurt.
Not even a scratch, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's medicine master protection, meaning that you will not get into accidental deaths.
Yeah, and no other people and the cars involved. I felt not so guilty about that. I want to share something about that, also about my cultivation, because 3 years ago, just before I met Master and started my cultivation, I got another car accident.
You are car accident prone.
After that accident, I felt I have some symptoms of PTSD. I'm not able.
PTSD?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I can feel that because I'm so scared about driving and also rock climbing because I climb high. So it's the symptom lasts maybe over 1 month. But compare that accident, this time I totally not scared. I wasn't scared. I just focused what's the next step because we are on the I-5, far from home. We need to figure out how to back home and tow the car, the trailer, something like that. And I'm fine. I didn't have any negative thoughts. Yeah, I'm functional. Pretty.
So what went through your mind when it was all happening? I'm sure it's very fast.
Yeah.
What went through your mind? You weren't afraid? You weren't scared? You
Yeah,
said,
totally.
hey, I'm going to die. Huh?
No,
Nothing?
any thought about
You
that.
you just have no thoughts whatsoever?
I just confused what happened. Because I think this last maybe 15 seconds because the trailer is fall off and I hold the wheel, but I cannot control it. It's so strong, the power so strong.
Right.
The trailer started swing.
Yeah, swinging.
And I was breathing.
For 15 seconds. So during those 15 seconds, what went through your mind? Were you afraid?
Not free, but I just.
Was your husband afraid?
I don't know. I didn't focus on.
You didn't talk about it? He wasn't traumatized either?
I think he's okay. He always okay. Even last time I got some symptoms of PTSD, he's so calm down, and I told him what am I feeling, but he's no response.
I see.
Yeah. When I sometimes I feel depression, he said, "Don't be." That's what he said. Don't be depression. You will be fine. Something like that. But it's
I see. You were pretty bad. I mean, when you first came, you were a basket case. She was a real basket case. If you talk her in a harsh, somewhat harshly, even a lot lighter when I talk to Chen Chen right behind you, for example. Chen Chen, I beat it on the head, and she's, yeah. But Apple, when you touch her too hard, for example, she would start tearing up. It's so sad.
Yeah. When I looking back, I wouldn't feel scared. Just maybe a little confused. During that. Maybe 15, 20 seconds, I just try to hold the car. I can't, and we fell.
But the thought of fear never arose because you couldn't control it. It kept on swinging, right?
Yeah.
Wildly.
Yeah, it's just out of control.
Did it get close to anyone? Anyone even got close to hitting you or something like that? Because there's lots of cars, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's. Everyone just stopped, and I didn't hit anyone. Just the trailer hit my car, and we stopped. And next to me there are a lot of trucks.
But there's a big truck there.
Yeah, big trucks.
Lots of trucks.
Lots of trucks.
And they all miss you.
Yeah. They're so lucky, and we are under the protection from Buddha. Yeah, I'm so grateful for that.
Aaron Petit. Explain that to me. How can a truck miss a swinging trailer? We move out the way.
Just move out the way if you see it in time enough, yeah. But you got to be paying attention, though. If you're not paying attention, it's going to be problems.
I see. Okay, so now you have no fear whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that must be a true mind.
I've never think about the death.
You do have affinity with the Pure Land Dharma door, clearly, according to Master YongHua.
Thank you, Master.
Well, I'm glad you okay. And the main thing is your husband is okay too. Yeah, he wasn't traumatized. Well, time will tell. If he still wants to go out and buy another trailer, then we know it's for real. He's not traumatized.
Yeah, so after that, because the car and the trailer, toll company keep them in the near Bixfield. It's far from my home. I was dealing all the things, trying to find another workshop to toll the back home, something like that. Right. I did everything.
You didn't have AAA or anything like that?
No, wait.
You didn't have that?
No insurance, something
interesting.
Like that.
These people are so brave. They really are either fearless or, crazy. How interesting.
I want to share that. So my husband, I can feel he's worried. He's worried a lot about what's the next step about the car. But I'm not. But
it's your sister's car, like his sister's car, right?
Yeah.
It's total. Are they still talking to each other? It's a nice car too. Yeah.
His sister is nice person.
But the sister is wealthy. He's right.
Um,
Her husband is wealthy.
no, it's my sister.
Your sister.
I mean, the West one is my sister's husband, not Pierce's, not my husband's.
Oh, your sister's
It's
husband.
my side, yeah.
I see. Oh, yeah.
So I feel like I haven't any negative thought. So, but I still afflicted by my husband when he's so worried and he argue with me about how to deal with the car, and I got afflicted. But if I can do what I want to do, I feel I'm calm down.
I see.
Let's go.
Very good. Very good. What did I tell? Did I ever tell her what level she's at? Anyone remember? Do you remember? Did I ever tell you? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Yes, 8.
Derek said the trailer sway is usually caused by insufficient tongue load on the hitch. Load heavier items closer to the front of the trailer.
Say what? Yeah, okay.
Ray said it's time to raise the price of the Medicine Master Buddha plaque.
That's true, isn't it? Everything has increased at least by 50%. I look at all the prices, and that's a good idea. Hey, Ray, yeah. Continue.
Daniel Wisniewski said, this past week I've been losing patience and enduring the pain in full lotus, rebuckling often. I guess due to the lack of strength and endurance, I couldn't prevent the fever sinus of invading. Maybe that's why it was much more difficult to cultivate, because I was fighting off the virus invasion.
Yeah. Yeah.
From Goat Forest Daniel, Master, I interpret what Master YongHua is saying is that responses are signs that you're cultivating correctly. If that's what he meant, would that be a true statement?
Yes, it's a true statement. But it sounds more like the Chinese are conditioned to expect responses. Because I kept on hearing gan ing or responses. Gan ing is Chinese for responses, and it's stuck in my mind for a long, long time. How come I have no responses? and now revisiting this reminded me how my cultivation has no significant responses whatsoever. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know why I continue. It's weird. Huge responses. You have true mind, you have huge responses. Yes, so how do you handle this? How do you compromise? I think this is where I feel the Chinese oversells a little bit. Because the way I did it personally is that I didn't talk about responses. Okay? I only talked about what's happening to you. Whatever you want to call it, responses or not responses, or imagination, or you went crazy. It's but a word, it's just a label. It doesn't matter. You call it a response, you call it a good thing, you call it a bad thing. It's all temporary. Okay? And so I stay away from the word responses. Subconsciously, I've always done that, that I was more interested in looking at what you get out of it, or what's going to happen to you, or what happened to you. instead of talking about responses. Okay? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Master. I think to share, whenever my wife and I drive to temple, at a certain point in the drive, I think my wife starts using her true mind.
He's so shameless.
Because, driving south on Del Mar, when we cross Valley, almost like on a clock, my wife will say, "Okay, Peter, be careful, we're entering Asian driving land." And so I get the response of being extra on my guard. And we get to temple safe.
I see. It's a good idea. Okay. Anyone else? You have huge responses. Yes, Fang.
Master, I have a question. How can you be assured of the responses from Buddha or
Chinese
Bodhisattva
again.
and not from demons?
Yeah.
Is that because you are reciting Dharma's Buddha's name so that could not be demons that responses to you? How can you be sure? I don't mean you.
This is why I avoid talking about responses. Because, first of all, could be a fake response where they use it to confuse you. The demons or your whatever beings that harass you use it to confuse you, mislead you. Okay, or even your teacher uses to mislead you. I've seen teachers who use tricks to on their students, okay? Even my own master's disciples, they do it too. They did it too. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they shouldn't. You should stop it. Because when you reach a certain level, you can begin to do things, okay? But so it's just tempting to do it. And you justify to yourself that, I'm helping people, so it's for the good of Buddhism or your good and so forth. And it's not clean. It's not good overall. So how can you tell the good responses and bad responses? Let me turn the problem around. Suppose it's a good response. You think it's going to stop the troublemaker from jumping in and twist it around for you? Your manic ghost, your depression ghost, okay? It would twist it around. I see it happening all the time. I think it's a good thing, and then your manic ghost twists around, says, "See, Master's a fool himself. He thinks he knows it all." So that's why I avoid talking about responses. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Master. I just want, first off, you said that what is the compromise? And I think it's the first time I talk like this. That it just didn't sit well with me. Eventually I did get a response. I don't know if it was. No, I do know. And the thing is that it came from cultivation, and that type of response could never be twisted to come from something else, because I know it only came from a dedication to cultivation. And I hear what you're saying about skillful means being manipulated to trick somebody into becoming something they're not. But I don't think that when it comes to the cheese, that those are used in any type of way to manipulate the mind. So I think that they're just goals to keep you on track and not believe your false mind.
What's wrong with his statement? He's so sure of himself, I believe. And that's when it's most dangerous. It doesn't matter if you believe or not. The common problem when most people cultivate is that they're so sure of themselves. It's got to be real. It's got to be a Buddha. It's got to be a Bodhisattva. It's got to be a great thing. It's got to be enlightenment. Next, that's what you're going to believe. It's got to be. And that's when you get in trouble. Because the Buddha says, when you practice right now, at your levels, don't believe in yourself. Don't believe whatever you believe. Not until you get to fourth stage Arhat, and then you begin to have some wisdom. And still, I would still remind you not to believe yourself either. Okay? Yeah. Did you want to say something, Seven?
Thank you, Master. Will you only have a response when you're sitting in lotus, like trying to meditate, or could you have a response some other place?
Oh, everywhere. In the bathroom, in supermarket, responses abound. Because cultivation is not just sitting or not just reciting the Buddha's name. Could be anywhere, anytime. It's not a big deal, really. Those are what we call in the Chan world states. That you experience yourself. And sometimes it's pleasant, sometimes it's not. It's just, it passes. Don't be attached to it. That's the correct approach. Okay? Whatever happens, is make a note of it and drop it. That's it. Including what I just told you. Just make a note of it and then drop it. You see? So how pure we are. I don't even want you to write it down and memorize it and so forth. It just goes in one ear, goes out the other. No attachment whatsoever. Okay? And if need be, I will beat it in your head again to remind you. So no need to worry about it. And that's why I have this problem with the way the Chinese use the word response and insist on talking about responses. I know you folks look over responses. You just go, God, I came to the temple, I feel so good, and all these great things happen to me. It must be responses. And then such people, they're excited, and they came, and all of a sudden they saw more things, they heard more things, and they experienced wonderful responses, and then they are misled. And they become attached to those responses. And that's how they spin out of orbit. Okay? So that's why it's much cleaner, much safer for you. Just, hey, it's a state. And naturally, many of those states are very pleasant, very nice. It happens naturally. And eventually, you develop wisdom to understand why it happened. Okay? That's more important to me than for you to dwell on the fact that you obtain the responses, like the Chinese like to teach your own kind. To me, it's too Chinese. Okay? It's just a state. It's just a temporary thing. Even your leg pains is temporary. It goes away. It doesn't last forever unless, you hurt and then it's numb like for a long time. I can't figure out why is that. It's got to be a daily thing that reinforces it. I don't get it. Okay, anyway, we figure it out one of these days. Okay? You understand where I'm coming from? The response is the way the Chinese talk about it, that including my master, my Chinese master, to me, I'm reluctant to talk about it. To me, it's a response enough for you to be able to keep on coming. Because it's so hard. Trust me. It's so hard to be able to come to the temple. You know, you go into the Asian driving range, you know. And then you go a little bit further, it's going to be, you know, a little bit further south, it's going to be, you know, a different type of driving range. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Master. I wanted to just say that I find your instruction here so interesting, because when I'm speaking to people in temple,
must be a response.
When I'm speaking with people in temple who are cultivating with me, and when I'm speaking with people outside of temple who are curious, the primary focus of our conversation is on the responses that we get when we cultivate.
Mm-hmm. Naturally.
So
that's how you relate to people. But I can't relate to you as responses. To me, it's a two-edged sword. It could be good and it could be bad. It flips pretty easily for people. But of course, faith is based on responses. Faith is based on the good things that you derived, that were derived from your spiritual practice. I understand that. But it's no need to talk about responses. To me, faith, you know, those things occur naturally because there's a cause associated with it. If I tell you to endure your leg pains, and you say, oh, I can't. I always said, endure a little bit longer each time. That's all you do. And you keep on, you drill yourself, okay? You drill it into your ego, your brain who says, you know, I hate it. And you say, okay, I understand you hate it, but can you do a little bit longer? Okay? 10 seconds longer, 2 minutes longer, that's all. And then you can stop. You can go do whatever. Go get yourself some gelato and, you know, and whatever, okay? Reward yourself. I have no problems with that, okay? Eat a third meal, okay? I don't care. Just reward yourself, okay? That, to me, is the response, because eventually you do that, you will find something wonderful is going to happen to you naturally without you looking for it. Because if you don't look for it, what I'm training you is to endure it and not be greedy, okay? And just endure more and more, and things will naturally happen. Miracles will happen naturally. You don't have to be greedy. You don't have to look forward to it. Because if you don't look forward to it, it happens a lot sooner. In a bigger way, in a huge way. Which if you say, you sit longer like that, you know, and even more, instead of 2 minutes longer, you sit 10 minutes longer, 1 hour longer, you have a huge responses. It may not happen because you're greedy. You see, there's a problem with this style of enticement to me. So how do we teach, boys and girls? Just tell them, just endure a little bit longer. That's all. And they themselves will naturally experience good things because we ask you to do things, okay, that will cause good things to happen to you down the road. And it will happen a lot sooner if you don't look for it. You're not greedy for it. Same thing. We train you, but it doesn't look like we're training you, does it? You don't even know why, what we're doing to help you reach, improve and reach, open your wisdom and so forth. You have no clues, right? None of you. I asked my disciples. Because I remember meeting this first ground monk, Sunim, in Korea. He was told to come see me, so I saw him and said, "Oh, wow, you're not bad." I told myself, that's pretty good. How come the last time here I met so many enlightened Sunims in Korea? I'm so impressed. Okay, and I said, "Well, it's pretty good. But why would you come and see me anyway? It's just a low life. Why are you wasting your time?" So because he forced me into a position where I said, your level is pretty good, but actually it's very low. Don't be so proud of yourself. Seriously, okay? And let me tell you, he used to be much higher than my disciples, and within years, they surpassed you and just, they left you behind in the dust. And so he says, "So what did you do?" I said, "I don't know." So I asked him, what do you think I did to train you? He said, "I don't know." Okay? Because if you don't know, you get there a lot sooner. It's not time for them to train people yet. That's why I haven't taught them how to train people. Okay? But when the time will come, hopefully if I don't get into a car accident, praise the Lord, then I will have a chance to train them. But it's much better for them not even know they're being trained, so that they cannot be proud. They say, "I know I'm the best or whatever, and we're the best." There's no such a thing. There's no training whatsoever. Just practice. Yes. Was there a question, a comment?
Oh, thank you, Master. I thought you wanted us to say if we knew what you were doing to train us, but since you don't, I won't give an answer.
As I like to say, if you knew what I'm doing to train you, it wouldn't work. Because what happened is that I'm fooling your ego. I'm toying your ego. That's why you progress so quickly. Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. I really don't know how you've been training me, but I've seen massive responses in my life. So thank you. Thank you very much, Master.
So you have responses. That dirty word again. See, it happens naturally, you see? We don't have to talk about responses. You yourself will know. That's all. So I frown upon the Chinese style of, or the Asian style of talking about responses. This, to me, it's not very, it's counterproductive. Okay, I know you're still around here because you have responses. If you didn't, you have left already. Yes? So why talk about it? It's our little secrets. I'm telling you, we're not supposed to make money of this, and we're not supposed to get famous because of it. Okay? It's about you. Your responses are your own. Not meant for me to brag about it and for the Chinese to say, "Hey, we have responses. How about you?" My own disciples, I asked them, "Are you happy?" They say, "No." For 10 years, you're not happy? Say no. Can you imagine? There's something wrong. So if people look for responses, they'll be gone already. Okay, next. Should bring your true mind during the qi and do not be afraid of suffering. Okay, true mind is no fear. Okay, very good. Do afraid of hardship, afraid of thirst, afraid of hunger. Okay, and single-mindedly recite the Buddha's name to attain the Dharma food. Dharma food here refers to food for your mind. This is what worldly people overlook. They neglect feeding their mind, providing food to their minds. Minds need food as much as the body. Okay? And you have the Dharma food, then you will not be hungry or thirsty. He refers to the samadhi you enter when you practice this thing here. And that's the samadhi is part of your Dharma food. Okay? It's all natural. Do not 不能遇到硬的就败了。Do not give up when it's too difficult. That's very important. When it's difficult, give it your all until you can't take it, then take a break and come back, go at it again. That's how tough we are. That's all you do. Because what happened to the other teachers is that, especially, I remember one of my early disciples, Roberta, she's a darling, okay? She's 84 years old, and you look at her, and she's a tiny, tiny thing, even shorter than Shorty. What happened to Shorty? I don't see Shorty anymore. Oh, no wonder I can't even see her. And she's even shorter than Shorty, okay? And she's a firecracker, and she's lively and always complaining. She's bipolar, always, you know. She used to hang out with me, and I would drive everywhere together, and she would always, every single time, she would sit next to me. I was driving, and he was next to me, and she would complain about other people's driving constantly. And she made it to fourth stage Rahat. I couldn't figure out either how. and then I declared that she's a fourth stage Rahat, I think, one of those times. And then so she started advising people how to cultivate. So she said, just cross your legs. If it hurts, unbuckle. It's okay. I do it all the time. And she's a fourth stage Rahat. How could I dare contradict her? So anyway, so do not baila here is referred that you give up, you quit because it's hard. Okay? Just because it's hard, don't quit. Go at it. Okay? Keep on drilling. Trying to drill through. And if it's too hard, it's too tiring, okay, take a break, okay? Go eat something, go have some tea, go have whatever, okay? This is why lots of food downstairs, okay? Food everywhere. And then once you're ready, come back and go at it again. That's what we do. We're relentless. And so the Chinese expression here, I'm not sure I understand the Chinese meaning, but this is how I would interpret it. We eat 3 meals a day. During Qi, we eat 2 meals a day. I don't subscribe to this. I feel food is comfort for you, is very important for you. What we ask of you is very difficult in your brains, and therefore food is very important for you to recover, to give yourself. It's like training dolphins, you will. Every time you do a trick, you give a fish. Okay, that's how I approach it. I don't care. I mean, it's ugly. It's not elegant. It doesn't matter as long as it works. That's all I care about. Okay, so 3 meals a day, 5 meals a day, I don't care. Okay? And offer this meal to the Buddha. They appear, it's okay. And the Chinese appear, we not. Okay. Any questions? Comments? Okay. We have our style. You know, I learned from a Chinese, and I feel that it's not. I demand a lot more out of you. Okay. Yes, Lily. 4.
네, 지금 저기 화면에 나왔는데 법식을 얻으면 배가 고프지 아니하고 목마르지 아니합니다. 이거는 어떻게 저희가 받아들여야 되나요? 법식을 얻으면은 배가 고프지 아니하고 목마르지 아니한다고.
In the slide, if you attain the Dharma food, then you would not be hungry and thirsty. Could you explain more about this? How can we accept this one?
Okay. When you attain the Dharma food, it's not attained, but you obtain the Dharma food. He's referring to that when you practice these spiritual practices, you will obtain Dharma food. What we do here is Dharma food for your brains. All right? What he's referring to is at times during this process here, it will happen naturally as long as you don't quit. It will happen that you will enter samadhi. And that's when you will not feel hungry or thirsty anymore. Or you're too tired. Another case, you're too tired. Okay? You're very tired because it's too much. All day you walk around and you sit, it's tough on your back, tough on your hip, tough on your knees, and so forth. And you don't quit. And because of that, you will also experience no hunger, no thirst, naturally. Okay, and this is the thing about the instructions, because these practices are for you to follow the instruction, not for you to understand. The problem with people in the world is that they try to understand, they figure it out. They say, let me see if I get this, let me see if I understand. It's nothing to understand, just do it. Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Yes, 7.
As it since talking about food, con would like to say thanks to Venerable Sintong, because I saw that each of us have a different kind of diet, and it's really hard for her to please all of us. So I don't know what she do, but she really makes us very happy. Thank you, Venerable Sintong.
Yeah, very nice. I noticed too before I left Korea, and after I came back, the food is different. I said, what happened in the food? It's no more grease, it's no more... What happened to all the fatty and the oily and greasy stuff? Now the food is more like, so lean like the Korean food. So I may not need to go to Korea anymore. Yes, 9.
Emitofuo, Master. Speaking of Dharma food, I want to say that it's very true. Usually at home I eat 3 meals. Since I've been here, I only take 1 meal and feel very peaceful and light. So just want to share so more people have more faith about the practice and follow the direction and the schedule.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Yeah. It's called, he enters some samadhi. You see how happy he sounds. He said, you can't afflict me. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Yes, 9.
Yeah, 9. Thank you, Master. So when we have fear for the hunger and thirst, where does this fear coming from? Is it from our ego?
Yes. Your ego is fearful. And sometimes your ego is fearless. Your ego is most unpredictable. There's no pattern. Yes.
So when we are low level, so this fear is kind of roller coaster. It's not always constant. It's always moves around.
Yeah. Sometimes you have fear. Sometimes you say, I'm not afraid of you. Kill me. And that's the nature of the ego. The ego is totally unpredictable. As soon you think you figure someone out, that's when the other person flips and changes. Egos cannot be figured out. Egos can only be pinned down at that moment, and you have to kill them right there. You cannot let them go. So for training purposes, what I do, I watch you. I watch your egos, how your ego functions, and I quietly, push all of your egos towards Malcolm. And Malcolm will squash it. Okay. Yes, 7.
Master, I remember when I took precepts, it was COVID, so I was on a Zoom call, and you asked me if I had a husband, and I said I did, and you said, well, he's very lucky because I was taking precepts, and I have to tell you, my husband is half Greek and half Italian, so it's a lot of cooking in our house, and not what I would probably prefer to eat, but he gets so upset. Like, he even cries if I say, like, I can't do garlic, I can't do onions, it's really a problem for him. So, I pick it out, and I just don't try to afflict him because he's so great about my practice and so supportive. But today I talked to him, and he said, well, I decided that I'm going to change my eating habits, and I'm reading a book about the blue zones and healthy eating and longevity, and I'm not doing milk, I'm doing oat milk. I mean, that was fantastic. So I think I understand now what you meant, that he was a lucky man, because he's making these changes now that needed to be made, and I wasn't badgering him. I wasn't like, come on, let's meditate, do this. It's helping me so much, and I just kind of kept on my path.
Very good.
Practice.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you for sharing. This is the thing about people. Don't try to change them. They have to decide to change for themselves. Look at Cheng Cheng, for example. She has her own ideas. She says, I'm here, but I'm not here. So I'm just here, but, ignore me. I'm going to decide for myself. Don't tell me what to do, okay? Okay? I know what to do with my life. Excuse me. So what happened is that ordinary people, they try to influence others and try to convince others to change. We don't. We don't try to change you at all, okay? You will change when you feel like it. And the people who don't cultivate, they will decide to change because it's beneficial for them. That's all. It's to their benefit, that's why they change. There's no need to try to change people. They can decide for themselves. They're not dumb. They watch you. And they observe you and they say, wow, I like this direction. I like the kind of person she's becoming. Okay, I want to keep up with her because I want to be worthy of her. Yes, 7.
Thank you, Master. I still have one thing I want to share.
Mm-hmm.
After the accident, I felt what kind of protection I got from Buddha. And I realized how important cultivation to my life. So I texted one Venerable and I said, I'm going to sit 1.5 hours every day for 1 week. And I did it. After that, I said to myself, I'm going to sit 2 hours every day for 1 week, and I make it. But after that, I felt at the first day of 40 at the Golden Forest, it's so painful. So, but I won't quit. Yeah. Thank you, Master.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, let's continue.
昨天呢，到慈航净院去，给他们讲开示。
Yesterday, I went to Cihang Jingyuan to do an instructional talk.
Yeah, spelling is off.
临走了，这香港的风气比丘尼呢都要供养比丘。这个在家居士也有，这个封一个红包，还有一个封。
Before leaving, the Hong Kong custom is bhikshunis need to make offerings to bhikshus. Lay people also packed a red envelope.
封一个红包，那么也不知道有多少。
The red envelope, we don't know how much is inside.
然后我们把它拆开，又都布施给他们了，又给回去他们。另外呢，还给他们50块钱，结缘。
We divided it up and offered back to them and added $50 to create affinity with them.
他们就说他们没有供养法师心里不安乐。
They said, we're uneasy that we didn't make offerings to Dharma Master.
我就告诉他们，我说你们真修行就是供养我。
I told them, if you truly cultivate, that's offering to me.
你们要不真修行你就封多少，这红包封多少，我也不认为你们是供养。
If you do not truly cultivate, no matter how many red envelopes you gift me, I do not take that as offering.
你们只要真心修道，拿出一个真心修道，你比供养我红包更好。
As long as you can cultivate a way with your true mind, it is better than offer me with red envelopes.
那么，这个老比丘尼瑞通从不接受。以后我说你要依教奉行，要听话，你不听话。
The old bhikshuni, Ru Tong, couldn't accept that. I said, you should practice according to the teachings, follow instructions.
那就是不实行法定法，那么结果呢，他收起了。
If you do not follow instructions that not truly bring forth the mind, then she accepted the red envelopes.
在这个慈航净院，有20-30个比丘尼在那儿修行，还都很好。
In Cihang Jingyuan, there are 20 to 30 bhikshunis cultivating there. They were very good.
那么，咱们现在大家打佛七，一定要往真了做，要往诚心了做，时时刻刻不要把这个光阴都空过去。
Now, during Foqi, we should do it truly with a sincere mind. Every minute, we cannot let time pass by in vain.
Okay, we stop here and let's revisit what he just taught us. So they went to this Cihang Jingyuan. Zu is kindness. Hang is vessel. Okay, kindness vessel, pure abode. Okay, Zu is kindness. Hang is vessel. Jing is purity. Yuan is the small place. Jing Yuan, yeah. Abode. A B O D E. Okay, and so they invited him, the great master, to this place for the instructional talk. And in being in Hong Kong, they have a strong Buddhist tradition. The lay people know that whenever you see a Dharma master, you're supposed to make an offering. I went to Hong Kong a few times, and that's what people did. Went to some temples, and I walked out, and it's just even though it's a small temple, 20, 30 people showed up, 40 people showed up, and I walked out, and practically everyone gave me a red envelope. So it's 40 red envelopes. I was so excited. So I went back to my room, opened it up, and checked. $2 each. And then I understood why my Taiwanese precept teacher, he was very upset. These Hong Kong people, you don't give $2 to a master, okay? It's insulting. So why should you feel insulted? When people give whatever they want to give, well, at least I'm happy I have some money. So they gave envelopes to, and so what happened is that you have all these Lefon people there, and the lay people would line up, and they all give you a red envelope, okay, and of course, you know how much it is. But he pretended not to know. He divided in half and then gave him half, okay, and then added $50 on top of it, okay. So what does it mean? It means that it's a great attitude. You're not there to receive offerings, okay? To dilute their support from that small place. But you add the Dharma, and then you add your own offerings on top. It's classy. The expenses, they have to travel there, and then, and so forth. But they added, they took their own money and made an offering. It is cool. It is nice. Very humble. And so they, meaning the nuns, they said, we don't feel right because we didn't make offerings to you. Because usually in these places, and there are lots of places like this in Hong Kong, they have small houses, or they're perched up in the hills and so forth. There's no running water or whatever, or they still use latrines for toilet, for sewage and so forth. So they're very poor, and so they usually have people who live there and practice purity. Okay, meaning that they distance themselves from society, so they're not seeking after worldly things. Okay, and therefore their support is actually very scanty. They really don't have a whole lot to offer to the lay people. So that's why they don't get much support at all. They're very, very poor. And Master YongHua chose to go and talk to them. Okay, because there's quite a few of them there. Okay. And so they said, we don't feel right because we're so embarrassed we cannot give you offerings. Okay, they're poor. They're very, very poor, barely making it. Okay, and that's cultivation for you. Just a reminder. Okay, for you, lay people, it's different because we need to train you differently. But for left form people, traditionally they practice in poverty. Okay. And so he said, you truly cultivate. That's what he meant. You are very poor. When you cultivate, you need to be poor. Okay? And that's offering to me. Okay? And you cultivate, that's offering to me. Okay? And this is a little bit Chinese. I don't understand it, When you cultivate, you don't cultivate, you give me money, I don't take it as offering. I said, say what? Come on, it's money, man. and the old Bhikshuni, of course, the head of the pure abode, she disagrees. Says, this is wrong. We're told to make offerings to the seniors. Okay, so that's why I cannot accept your money, your red envelopes. And he said, well, then let me remind you, okay? Follow instructions. You see, everything he does, it's so subtle. I met someone recently, I talked to someone recently, he came to the temple finally, and she said, a lot of great monks came to see me, came to my house, and I supported their Dharma propagation. And then she says, what are your instructions for me? I said, come to Wei Mountain Temple and participate in the Fo Qi. And she never showed up. Okay, yeah. So follow instructions. Okay, yeah. So in a very, very gentle way, he planted the seeds for them to understand in the future. When you meet a good teacher, just follow the instructions. Don't think so much. Don't try to understand so much. Just do it. If you do not follow instructions, that is not truly bringing forth the mind. That's true. And then she accepted the red envelope. Q&A.
Dạ, thưa thầy, con muốn hỏi follow cái câu thầy vừa nói là nhưng mà nếu cho những người mới tu tập khi mà cái trí tuệ của họ chưa có đủ để mà họ nhận biết được cái người teacher nào là cái người great để họ follow, thì có cách nào để họ nhận ra không thầy? Ví dụ như cái gut hay là cái feelings?
Emitofuo, Master, I have a question follow up with this, is that for those who new to the cultivation, they don't have enough wisdom to be able to recognize the good teacher. Is there a way, for example, like instant to recognize that that person is a good teacher?
I hear this kind of question constantly. And my answers have changed so much over the years as well. I don't know. There is a good question, and all I know from my own experience has been that I came to Master YongHua, one of the greatest teachers I met. Okay, and I came to him too late when he was about to leave, and so he accepted me, and then he left. So he taught me only very shortly, and for some reason, I've always I never stopped looking for a good no advisor. Okay. And that's all I knew. I said, no, I don't know. Now my teacher died. Who's next? So I started looking and looking and looking. And then I started to realize that some of the teachers are not that good. But for me, what's fundamental is that you are constantly looking for a good teacher. That's so important, okay? Whether you're going to find it or not this lifetime, it depends on your blessings. If you have the blessing, you find it. You don't have enough blessings, you will not find it. That's how it is, okay? Yes, did you want to say something?
Dạ, thưa thầy, con muốn chia sẻ một chút về vấn đề hôm con bị tay ác đó, rồi con có biết được mới hiểu ra được rằng là tất cả mọi chuyện khi trong cái cuộc đời của mình mà khi có chuyện gì xảy ra thì mình áp dụng được những cái hiểu biết của các thầy đã dạy. Thì trong cái thời gian qua khi con bị tay nó lúc mà con đi mổ về thì bác sĩ có kêu là con phải uống thuốc. Thì con rất sợ cái thuốc giảm đau đó, con nghe nói là có cái chất protein, chất làm cho chất giống như là chất ghiền á, giống như là áp phiện gì đó, thành ra con không uống. Nhưng mà bác sĩ kêu nó là phải uống và phải về uống liền trong ít nhất cũng phải 1 tuần. Nhưng mà khi sau đó 1 tuần sau thì phải trở đến bác sĩ. Khi con trở lại thì bác sĩ hỏi con uống thuốc điều không, con nói con không có uống thuốc. Thì ông rất là ngạc nhiên, ông nói ông không tưởng tượng đâu, không người nào mà mổ mà không uống thuốc giảm đau. Chưa có người nào mổ rồi mà không uống thuốc giảm đau mà chịu nổi. Bác sĩ nói là bác sĩ không muốn để bệnh nhân của bác sĩ bị cũng như chịu đựng á, không gì mà phải tự hành hạ mình chịu đựng vậy, làm sao mà chịu được. Rồi cô không có thấy đau sao? Thì Thì con nghe bác sĩ nhấn mạnh kêu con 1-2 phải uống, thành ra con cũng nói cho ổng yên lòng thôi. Con đấy bây giờ con có thể thay cái thuốc giảm đau mà có chất áp phiện đó thì thế bằng chất cái gì đó, cái thuốc cảm á, Tylenol, thì ổng cũng được. Nếu mà sợ không dám uống nước kia thì thế Tylenol cũng được. Thì con chỉ nói là thế bằng Tylenol thôi, chứ còn không có nói cái lý do mà ông cái nói thắc mắc tại sao mà chịu được, sao không đau được. Lúc mà không uống thuốc á, ông rất ngạc nhiên. Nhưng mà thực sự là con cũng xin chia sẻ luôn cái là chuyện là thật sự, tại vì con cũng không hiểu tại sao được như vậy. Ở chỗ là con dùng Phật pháp, khi về thì nó bắt đầu hết thuốc mê, thuốc tê, nó bắt đầu nó tăng, giống nói là kiểu Việt Nam là nó tăng, nó nhất như là kim châm vậy đó, cái đường mổ á. Thì may lại xong rồi nó cứ như mấy thỉnh thoảng thì nó đau cái kiểu như kim châm vậy đó, tăng vậy thôi. Rồi mình đừng có suy nghĩ tới, đừng có sợ gì hết, thì nó sẽ từ từ nó hết. Nhưng mà mỗi lần như vậy thì con nhớ đến cái 4 câu kệ của thầy có giảng trong cái kinh Kim Cang, là trong tất cả các pháp hữu vi đều là mộng huyễn. Nó như là bọt, như là bóng và như sương, tất cả như là lần tia chớp, không có gì là thật. Lúc đó con suy nghĩ không có gì là thật, tại sao mình phải không có gì là, lúc đó con không có gì là sợ hãi. Con nghĩ tới mấy câu đó, con không hiểu sao là tự nhiên cái con không còn sợ hãi, không gì hết trơn, mà nó cũng không đau luôn. Cái từ liên tiếp mấy ngày con không có thấy nó đau gì hết trơn á, mà con không để ý tới nó luôn, con không thèm để ý tới nó. Cứ mỗi lần vậy là con dặn đất đá xong thì con cũng đi xuống, đi lên xe lăn, con ngồi tự con lăn, con ngồi trên xe, con đi vòng vòng ở nhà chơi vậy thôi. Rồi con rất là thoải mái, không có gì hết trơn. Nhưng mà con không thể kể cho bác sĩ nghe biết tại sao không đau. Cái lý do Phật pháp con nghĩ là bác sĩ không có tin, cho nên con chỉ nói là con sẽ uống Tylenol thế. Thì ông thấy được, uống Tylenol thế cũng được. Đó là cái câu chuyện là có con dùng Phật pháp để giống như là chỉ cái đau. Thì con chia sẻ thôi. Yeah.
Emitofuo Master, I would like to share my experience. There's some problem that, so the day I got injured, I understand that a lot of things happen in our life, and once we know how to apply what the teaching from the Master and others, it will be better. So during the time that I got injury, I performed. There was a lot of surgery performance. So then the doctor tell me to drink drink painkiller, but I was afraid of the painkiller because they have addictive. Therefore, I don't want to drink the painkiller. However, the doctor telling me at least to drink those painkillers for at least a week. After that, a week later, the doctor checked up with me to see whether I actually drink the medicine or not, and to his surprise, he found out that there has not such one person after surgery that would not use the painkiller to reduce the pain. And because he, as a doctor, have a heart, he doesn't want his patient having to endure and bear the pain like this. So he doesn't feel right to do so. Therefore, because of that, I told him that I replaced the painkiller by using Tylenol, and but I did not explain to him what happened, why I do that. So he curious about it. But however, I wanted to share the whole exact story is that I'm using Buddha Dharma to treat them, to treat the pain. So because there's a line of my surgery, every time there was a pain come in, it hurt like there was needles poking at it. So then I'm thinking how to not be afraid of it. then I remember the 4 verses from Vajra Sutra that Master talked to us. Is all conditioned Dharma is like bubble shadows, like sweet dew and a lightning flash. Contemplate them thus. At that time, I don't know what happened. I just keep thinking about that, and for some reason, there's no more pain. And every time when it is painful, I ignore it. Or sometimes I would use my wheelchair, sitting on the wheelchair, to get the ice and put it on. And that's how I get over the pain. And I would like to share the story with everybody about this.
Very good, very nice. It turns out that I have another disciple who had major surgery for breast cancer, and she was in great pain. And the first day she took Tylenol to help deal with it, and second day she said, I don't need to depend on chemicals. So she just meditated instead of taking painkillers. So she meditated every single time. It hurt, that's all. Now, for her case, her Kung Fu is much higher level. At the time, the other lady is like fourth. And after she meditated enduring the pain, she made it to fifth. Okay. So anyway, at a lower level, you are able to handle the pain already. This is what ordinary people don't realize. She's much higher level. For her to handle the pain is not a big deal at all. Okay. No, nothing is really necessary. And her next level is that you don't even need to remember Vajra Sutra, whatever. You say, what pain? And the pain, it's gone. So you don't realize that you are developing skills that are very useful for you in the future when you're faced with a situation of life and death, okay? Or when you need to, you realize how much power you have over how powerful your mind is. Okay, and it still gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay, that's what it's about. It's there, and it's not until you need it, you won't find out. And when you need it, you find out what you're capable of doing. Okay? So, for example, I look at all of you who have been participating in this Dharma talk here tonight. I know some of you. The reason I said, what pain is, I know some of you are able to do it already. You can kill the pain just like that. And it's pretty low level. It's nothing. Okay? And so you be amazed at what you're capable of doing. And I don't call the responses, okay? No response. That's what we can do. No response. It's not a big deal for us. Okay?
Chuyện con thắc mắc, con muốn hỏi thầy được không? Con còn một việc là như 3 tháng trước mẹ con á, ở nhà, bà 92 tuổi rồi, bà ở nhà một mình. Lúc đó ở với cô em, mà cô em đi tới giờ đón con đi học về á, giờ tăng học của con, thành ra cổ đi, thành ra bà ở nhà có một mình. Bà mới mở cửa ngoài sau để định lấy cái bịch rác ra ngoài sau để, nhưng khi bà mở cửa thì cái cửa dội lại, bà té bật ngửa trở ra sau, chở vô nhà. Rồi khi về thì bà về, cái cô em dẫn chở 2 đứa nhỏ đi về, xong mới hỏi ở nhà sao mùi dầu đầy. Hỏi chứ mẹ, má có xức dầu hả, sao vậy, có chuyện gì không? Nói tao mới té mà, hỏi trúng chỗ nào, bà nói bà cũng không biết trúng chỗ nào, bà nghi nó chắc cái đầu quá, bà mới lấy dầu bà xức. Rồi bà kể là bà lấy dầu xức trên đầu, thì cô em mới đi vạch cái đầu ra, thấy không có cái gì hết, mà thấy mùi dầu không à. Rồi cô em mới nói té ở đâu mà không có trúng cái đầu, má không như biết cái chỗ nào hả? Bà nó không biết cái đâu. Cô mới đi mở camera ra coi thì té bà té trúng cái lưng, té bật ra sau thì đập vô cái lưng, rồi hai cái chân chổng lên trên nóc nhà. Thì thấy cũng mạnh lắm, nhưng mà cổ mới sợ quá, cổ mới đi vạch cái lưng, thì thấy cái lưng cũng không có hơi hồng hồng thôi, không có gì hết. Cái mới hỏi có đau không này kia, hỏi thăm bà đủ thứ hết. Bà nói bà không biết gì hết. Khi mà té thấy có một đứa đỡ lên thì cổ mới nói là đâu có ai ở nhà đâu mà đỡ, có nhớ lộn không? Nói không, có người đỡ thành ra cũng không có đau lắm, không có đau. Cái cổ mới nói là có thể là cái người em trai con lúc trước con có thỉnh bà dị ở đây á, giảng sanh đó, thì cổ nghi là cái người đó đỡ bà mẹ này. Thì con nghĩ trong lòng mà con không nói ra, con nghĩ trong lòng là con thỉnh bà dị, con không có cho ở nhà hay, cho nên là con không biết. Con nghĩ là thỉnh bà dị có lẽ là giảng sanh rồi. Thành ra bây giờ con định hỏi thầy, thí dụ cái người mà giảng sanh có thể về giúp gia đình trường hợp như này, không biết có phải.
Yeah, it's possible.
Emitofuo, Master, I have a problem that would like to ask for clarification. Is that there was one thing happened 3 months ago with my family. Is my 82 years old mother stay home alone because my sister is picking up the kids. So she wanted to went out and take a trash bag and come back. Somehow something happened. She was bounced back from the door, and then that happened, and my sister came back, saw that she was putting some stuff. It smelled a lot of medical oil, so she asked what happened, and the mother just said that there's something hurt on the head, but she found out that the head there's nothing up on the head that actually painful. Or any redness on her head, on the mother's head as well. So then she went back home and looked up the camera to see what happened. So she saw that her mother bounced back, fall down, and hit the concrete, and 2 legs was pointing up. Somehow we opened that and we see the back, and it's just only red a little bit. And we asked the mother to see what actually happened. So my mother said that, I don't know, I just fall down and I felt like there's somebody actually helped me, holding me back. So I think that it is my brother, because there's one time that I actually request the rebirth leg for him, but did not tell my family about that. But my sister actually have an instant feeling that it is actually my younger brother as well. So I think that because of those people who also rebirth to the Pure Land, they can come back and assist and help with the family. Is that true? Is that the case, Master?
It's possible, but unlikely.
Hôm nay con cũng không biết là em con có giảng sanh chưa gì, con cũng không có nằm bao thấy, chỉ có thấy được một lần là chỉ thấy cái khuôn mặt của y thôi, mà y nhìn thì nhìn vô tư vậy đó, còn ngoài ra con không có biết, cho nên con cũng không biết là cái người đó là có giảng sanh chưa. Thì tại vì cái cô em nói là có thể là cái người đó đỡ mẹ.
Well, you can believe whatever you like to believe. It doesn't matter. It's only talk anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. But it's a good thing that she didn't get hurt. That's the main thing. It's not a big deal how it happened. Okay. The more you know, the more you want to know. That's the problem with that. Okay, that's why I don't know, and I don't care to look into it. Okay, and if you're wondering about your brother, did he make it to the Pure Land? I used to say a lot of things about that, and people kept on coming to me and ask questions about this and that, how about that person, how about the other person, how about my great-grandfather, is he there? And it's endless. So I don't talk about it anymore. Typically, if you decided to help him, and after a while, okay, then they all went already. They all made it. So his particular case, for example, he's there. Okay, and this is the power of the Pure Land Dharma door. Okay, no matter what happens, Amitabha Buddha is very compassionate. He will welcome you, and then he will make arrangements to take care of you. So you just practice the Pure Land Dharma door, and good things happen. Okay, our American Pure Land Dharma door, to me, is far better than the Chinese. It's something you should be proud of, and it's the fact you're participating in this adds more responses, if you will. And we're talking responses. Now you yourself have more responses and so forth. It's all natural. Okay, if you practice, all the good things happen. That's all. And that's how the more people practice, the more you practice yourself, the more people will hear about it, and you have more chances to share with people your own personal experiences. Okay, yeah. So it's helpful. All right, we stop here tonight. Thank you all.